Hello and welcome to the iFox with Juice podcast. This is your host Juice, and I'm here with my co-host Rina Parsigan. Rina, what's going on?
Nothing much. How are you doing?
Doing all right. The rain pretty bad up there, or it's been mild?
Yeah, it's been mild. It died down now. So I don't think we're going to see rain until, I think, Saturday. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's supposed to be cold this weekend. It's kind of like over here. It was really strong in the morning and then strong a few hours ago, but it kind of calmed down right here too. But that's that's our usual Cali weather update as we've been doing the past couple episodes. But we're gonna talk about fights today, and a lot of fights. We don't want to go the same route that we did last week. There's a lot of fights to cover this weekend, so we're just gonna jump right in. We're gonna start with a quick, well, fortunately, a review of Lidell Ortiz III that happened this weekend. That had basically the MMA world mourning for the loss of Chuck Liddell. Um, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say here, Reen. What did you think of the whole ordeal?
it was sad to watch. I watched the fight that night. And
Yeah, that's like the unanimous answer, it seems.
yeah, and then just Tito just gloating about the fight as if he was fighting a prime Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, I mean, I get his feeling like, oh, I beat the guy that beat me twice, but there's also in that statement twice, like how much does the win really mean? But I mean, good for him in that sense. Like, hey, at least he didn't lose to him a third time. But exactly, like you just said, what does it really mean?
And then talking about rewriting history. Well, you can't do that. Come on. It's like
Oh,
he beat you twice
yeah.
in what was your prime, correct? So yeah,
Oh,
it was hard to watch that fight. I saw a lot of comments on Twitter, and I mean it continue on. It's been the topic of discussion this week. I totally forgot that we had a UFC China event. I mean,
mm-hmm.
it was in the morning, but I mean, it just totally overshadowed it. I think there was like 25,000 pay-per-view buys for this, according to what Chael Sonnen said. Uh, that's really a small number. So can you say that they were successful? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's one of those take it with a grain of salt things because it's jail. Yeah, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't doubt that that's true. That seems plausible. I know at least a few people on Twitter seem like bought it, but it seems like it seems like most of the people that bought it are like hardcore, like they go back literally since like '93. Like Pride days and early UFC days that they're just like, well, I have to do it because I grew up watching them. Um, and they just had, oh, they deserve a last payday. I mean, how much longer are they gonna fight? I got that sentiment. That's why I didn't really get mad at anyone who actually purchased the fight, but everyone felt sad afterwards. And then, yeah, I mean, the way that Chuck went down, it was like the most basic combo, the most basic. It was nothing special that brought him down, especially from Tito, who was never known as a knockout puncher. And I mean, he knocked him dead. It, yeah, it was definitely sad to watch, but at least there was the slight entertainment of him, well, not of him, but of the commission not allowing him to do the gravedigger and him adamantly just, fuck you, I'm gonna do this shit. It just kept doing it even though they were trying to restrain him.
Yeah,
That,
that was
that was
funny.
funny. That was funny. Yeah, there was at least that. And after the immediate, just sullen, sadness of Chuck just dying on us on pay-per-view. But
Yeah, somebody posted a meme is the Lion King.
oh, with Simba,
Simba, yeah.
those are always sad. Those are always funny, but they're always like just
Yeah.
put a thing in your heart. It's just like, why? Right in the feels.
So, but yeah, I watched it. Yeah. Well, what else can you
Are,
say? Like everybody's talking shit.
are we
Dana
better
White's
people for it?
pissed. Huh? Are we better people for
for
it?
watching it.
I mean, I think so because we were trying to support, the legends. But do I think they should do it again? Do I think Golden Boy should continue with this MMA route? No.
According to Tito, it seems like they're still going to do something. And I heard today the rumor is that him and Dan Henderson. I don't know when. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if Tito's just talking out of his ass or if he really is some kind of big member in Golden Boy MMA. But I mean, it's a fight that could at least happen. But man, I mean, I can see the same thing happening to Hendo very easily, and that who knows? Maybe Tito's just on this thing like he just wants to beat all the guys he couldn't beat in his prime.
Yeah, he's definitely on some kind of run. I don't know what he's taking. Um, but yeah, maybe he should stop and try to just be a businessman. I know it's hard for him because
Yeah,
he's a narcissist and he
yeah.
likes the light shining on him, especially now that he's got this win. But no, I mean, how can you go with Golden Boy? How can you work for somebody that didn't care to be there?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, it's kind of hard to dissuade Tito. He might not see the light, as we might say. But yeah, that the Golden Boy. I mean, that kind of brings up the next thing about this whole saga is Dana started talking shit about De La Hoya about just allowing the fight to happen, and it makes sense just because Dana talks shit about other promotions, especially boxing and De La Hoya. They've had their run-ins in the past, and then of course Chuck being a good friend of his, he didn't want to let him fight in the UFC, so he let him go and ended up, fighting for De La Hoya. But and then De La Hoya, well, I don't know, I don't even know if you can call it a burn or whatever. His reply was that he should just shut the fuck up and worry about his failing company or something, his dying company, worried about saving his company or something like that. I didn't fully understand, but I don't know. It's just promotional bickering. It's nothing new, but I mean, I don't know because the thing is now we're gonna kind of interject this story now. The news came out as that fight was happening of Israel Adesanya fighting Anderson Silva at 230 UFC 234, and it's been a mixed bag of emotions from people. It seems like half the people are psyched for it. They think it's going to be exciting, and the other half are upset or mad at Dana for making the fight because they think that Anderson's going to get murdered. So I don't know. I guess in that sense, is it okay for Dana to talk shit when in some way he's kind of doing the same thing?
Yeah, I don't know how Chuck was able to get a license now that it's been suspended, indefinitely. I mean, they went from giving him one and now it's indefinitely
That's
suspended.
right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's bad.
So, I mean, I don't know how California said it's cool. I've seen medicals for fighters. I've seen the paperwork. They go through some testing. So, I'm sure Chuck went through the same thing.
Especially in California, we're
Yeah.
pretty stringent on it.
Yeah, and doctor said, cool, cool, cool. You're checked off. You got brain scan, this and that. You're good to go. So, I mean, everybody's kind of blowing up Andy Foster saying, hey, why did you give him this license? Blah, blah, blah. But there are other people that were involved with the medicals and the
Yeah.
team and the coaches and people around him saying, yeah, you can do this.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, how could anyone really know, especially if all the paperwork and all the blood work and whatnot is good? If if it's not, if the proof isn't in the pudding, as they say, well, how can you say otherwise? But the other thing also is, Foster, I have to imagine, has a somewhat of a deep relationship with De La Hoya because obviously he's been promoting for a while with boxing and Golden Boy boxing and stuff, but he has a lot of fights here. I mean, they're low level, sometimes amateur fights that they have a lot here, like on I think like in Palm Springs and in LA, they have like it in small theater venues and stuff for regional guys. But I mean, they do it a lot. Like every month or so, or every 2 months, they have a lot of fights here. So I think he probably just went off of De La Hoya's he probably just confided in Deloy. It's like, well, he wouldn't put anyone that he didn't trust could actually fight at least a little bit, you know?
Right. So with that being said, and then now here's Anderson Silva about to take on Israel Adesanya. It's like, well, Anderson has been active. He's gone through all the medicals. Yeah, he's older. He's a legend. Let's just call it as it is. He's a stepping stone for this, next and up and coming superstar.
Well, yeah, that's why people are mad about this fight. That's why some people are mad because they see that reality is like, well, and maybe they're offended, like, oh, you're just gonna quote unquote like use a legend as a stepping stone for this kid. But I mean, to me, that's just the nature of fighting. That's what it's always been since, whatever, bare knuckle boxing in the 1800s or whatever you want to say. I mean, this is just sports, and this is just the fight world. This is just how it goes. And sometimes it happens to a guy like Anderson, who happens to be a lot of people's favorite fighter.
Right.
I'm not sad about him. I'm excited for the fight. I think the fight can be good. The only thing is, I mean, is it going to be a quick, vicious knockout? Like if Adesanya takes out Anderson the way he did Brunson, like no one's going to feel good about that. But the thing is that a lot of casuals might watch it, or they'll at least watch the highlights and be like, "Damn, who's that guy who just beat the shit out of Anderson? Oh, he's he can fight for the title. I want to see that guy. I want to see what that guy can do. I bet you he can be champion." It's one of those things. It's giving him a name so the wider world can know who he is. Because you and I know who Anderson is, and we know the level that he's at, but most people don't. At least not people outside of our world.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just be real. Anderson is accepting this fight too. So yeah, it's sad he's going to be thrown to the young wolf here, but I'm excited for the fight. I'm really interested in the fight. It could go either way. They're both surprising fighters. He knows his hero inside and out. He's watched his hero, and now he's going to take out his hero and, take the torch from him. So that's a cool story in itself.
I mean, Adesanya said, like, he was one of the first guys he saw, like, when he became a fight fan, like, oh, is this tall, skinny black guy? Like, he never thought that somebody that looked like him could whoop ass the way that Anderson did. And I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. So that's actually pretty cool. Like you were saying, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool aspect of the story. But then, like you said, yeah, Anderson seems like he's accepting the fight, but then the news came out that, well, they even asked him, why would you accept the fight? And he said, well, yeah, that's what I asked Dana. Why should I accept this fight? And Dana told me that I could get a title shot if I won. So that's all I needed to hear.
Oh my God. And see, like, title shot, like how? Because you're not even a ranked fighter. Like I'm looking at it right now. How are you going to get a title shot? There's like so many people ahead of him.
Just the name value, like, I mean, like, okay, this is a bit of a different subject, it's not apples to apples per se, but like, if whatever reason, like if Ronda decided to quit wrestling today, or she's just like, you know what, I need a break, I'm gonna go back into fighting, like, do you not think that she'll get an immediate title shot? I mean, even with Nunes, like, like, there's people that'll still buy it, or okay, maybe not Nunes, but Holly Holm, she'll get a high profile, big check fight because, Holly Holm maybe isn't what she is either, what she was when she beat Ronda, but still, that's a giant fight, and it's so easily over 1 million pay-per-views,
Yeah, so that's that aspect, right? Money talks, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't mind them making the big fights, and this fight, in a way, makes sense. It's just we're too close to the forest. We know how this plays out. We know what this is for. We're not, they're not putting the wool over our eyes, so we can't enjoy it fully for what it is. That this is supposed to end badly for somebody, and it's most likely not going to be Adesanya.
No, I don't think so, and that's the part that sucks. I like them both, but that would be kind of cool to pass on the torch and hopefully I don't know Anderson just walks away depending
That
on how he gets finished. I'm seeing a finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't see how it's not. That I will say that is the one thing about Anderson that I does worry me. I was never the biggest Anderson fan, and even now I'm really not. But I respect the guy's accomplishments, obviously. But he's never seemed like he's one to. I've never seen him once really mention retirement. You know, like I really can't think of one time. I know some people thought that he might retire after he lost to Weidman, which I guess looking back at it now wouldn't be a bad move because he really hasn't done much since. But I don't know. That just worries me. Like he might not know when to call it. He might think like until I get brutally like until he gets like brutally knocked out, like Pat Curran um versus Joe Warren, like some vicious, disgusting knockout like that. Maybe that's when he'll probably realize it. Maybe he's just that stubborn, but I really hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I hope that's not either. But if he gets brutally finished, then he's going to be out for a while because of the medical suspension. And there he is again on the shelf. And what fight will make sense after this? This upcoming fight. So yeah. Regardless, though, I'm actually excited, and I thought it was funny that they dropped it. In the middle of that Chuck and Tito fight.
Yeah, it was a
Tight move.
yeah, good move. It definitely got the MMA world was watching in one way or another. If they weren't watching the fight, which not a lot of people did, they were definitely following on social media somehow. So that yeah, I agree. That was a good move. So we're gonna as I almost forgot, we didn't even talk about Ngannou. That was a fight that happened this weekend. It was a fight that both Rina and I picked wrong. We picked Blades, and Ngannou ended up getting the early first round knockout. What did you think of the stoppage, Reen? Did you think it was justified? It seems like there was a few people who thought that it was a bit early.
I think it was justified. I mean, it looked really brutal. He went down. He wasn't really protecting himself, and I didn't want to see it anymore because I think we all know what kind of power Francis has.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was gonna end well. I mean, even if you thought, like, I mean, he was there once the referee stopped. I mean, he protested. He kind of fought with the referee. I believed he was there. He clearly wasn't unconscious, but he was definitely dazed, and he was definitely like not in his right state of mind. And yeah, as you said, like we know how hard Ngannou can crack, and all that was gonna follow was more of what just happened. If you take enough of those hammers, well, eventually you're gonna go down. And you're probably gonna go lights out.
Yeah, so I thought it was clearly justified. Saved him. He could fight another day. He got caught. I mean, I think he was behind the ear or something.
Yeah, kind of temple area. Yeah, it's just one of those wobbling shots. Like, oh shit, what happened? Because he fell
Mhm.
face first. It wasn't like he got knocked clean on the jaw and just fell backwards, and his head hit the canvas.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, we both went with Blades because of what's been going on with Francis's, confidence and just his abilities with being a little bit more dynamic, not just this heavy puncher, striker, just relying on his hands. But again, there's unanswered questions.
Yeah, I mean, Ngannou just has power that you just can't sleep on for any second, any minute of the fight. Um, I mean, so long as he throws, he's dangerous. And maybe it was just the confidence of that I beat this guy once already, and maybe just a bit of fear as well. I'm sure he had some kind of doubt and some kind of probably some anxiety of he knew how good of a wrestler he was. He knew that even in the first fight, but seeing how good he's what he did to Mark Hunt, what he did to Overeem lately, like damn, I don't want to be that guy. So if I'm gonna take him out. You better try and take him out right now.
Yeah, a good win for him. And this just changes the landscape of the heavyweight division. And then now, we have this other heavyweight titles or heavyweight bouts coming up.
Yeah, this weekend with Dos Santos and Tuivasa, which is also a fight that can possibly bring up a new contender. Who the hell knows right now because of this DC possibly Brock Lesnar thing, and then you can't even count out Jones or maybe even Gustafsson, the winner of that fight. Who the hell knows if they just say, "Hey, I want to go up and I want to fight DC," given that they both have a history with him. You there, Rina?
Sorry, mute button.
Okay.
Make
sure everything's
yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be fighting who next. And I think Francis said he wants to fight Volkov or maybe JDS even.
So that'd be interesting, especially if JDS wins. That first fight, they already fought once, but that first fight was nothing happened. Nothing happened till something happened. So it's one of those things like, did JDS get knocked out brutally? Yeah. But it wasn't like he got smashed for 20 minutes. He took one punch, and it literally may have been like the second or third punch that Overeem threw with intent. So, anything could have happened. It just he got there quicker. He was a little bit more confident, and he threw quicker, and he got there first, and he won. So yeah, that'd be a good fight. And then the co-main event, Overeem got a. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh my God, what is going on with me? We were just talking about Ngannou, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why. I was about to talk about Overeem right now. For some reason, I started bringing up Overeem and Dos Santos. Yeah, Ngannou Dos Santos would be cool. And they were supposed to fight. My apologies. They were supposed to fight about a year ago, and then I think that's when Dos Santos got popped for the USADA stuff. So yeah, that'd definitely be a good fight. But I was talking about Overeem earlier. He fought as well. He got a good stoppage. He's back in the mix too, and he called out Derek Lewis. So that could be an interesting fight.
That's right. The hot balls tweet.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
That's what he said. The hot balls.
Yeah, he called them like hot balls. What do you think?
That's another one. It's like, wait a minute. You look really great out there.
Yeah, and the funny thing with the funny and fucked up thing with Overeem is that when he looks good, he looks good, and when he looks bad, like, dude, like, are you gonna die in your next fight? Like, forget like retirement. Like, you should go to the doctor. Like, you might have severe brain damage already, but the guy always comes back. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how, and he, basically from what everyone says, he basically has a glass jaw from everyone's account, and he's been knocked out like at least, especially with kickboxing, if you combine them, at least 10 or 12 times, and usually brutally, and somehow he comes back. I really don't know how he does it.
Yeah, because he's have close to 90 fights combined, I think, or more than that.
Well, I know in MMA, I know it's probably over 50, and then with kickboxing, I'm sure he's had over 30 at least. So yeah, you might be right. Yep.
Yeah, so he looked really great that night, or for us it was early morning. Takedown defense. That guy looked huge.
His opponent,
yes, a lot bigger than him, and Overeem's not a small guy. But yeah, takedown defense was cool, and his being patient, and I think it was a trip or something, and got him down on the ground, and then just started working from the top position and started just wailing down punches, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, he schooled them. It kind of was like with the it kind of reminded me of when he beat up what's his name, Struve. Just like he was taking his time, brought him down, and then just beat the dog shit out of him on the ground.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he looked good, man.
Can't sleep on Overeem. And his grappling too. something people forget about. He always has that in his back pocket. And he's always dangerous. So I really don't know what else to say. It's good for him, and I guess it's good. It's good he's back on the on the top 10, top 5 rankings. It can do some interesting things for heavyweight, which always needs a little interest. So no, go ahead.
No, I was like cracking up because I thought he died a little after Francis knocked him out, and I didn't think he would ever be the same. Like, I thought he took his soul, but nope. Overeem's like, nah, not today.
Yeah, it's concerning. You know what I mean? Like I don't never want to have, I mean, it's good for someone to be confident or not have that indomitable spirit. Like, you're not gonna keep me down, but Jesus Christ, man, the shit, I would have quit 7 times already if I was you.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, we may say he has a glass jaw, but he's definitely tough. At the very least, determined, and that's definitely worth something. We're gonna slide right into some of the fights this weekend, though. Bellator is having some fights tomorrow night. They're having some. Actually, I haven't even really. I'm trying to look through the card right now, see if there's anything of note. But David Rickles is fighting against that Bomba guy, the guy that dated Demi Lovato. So I guess there's that.
Sorry.
That should be an entertaining fight. I actually might catch that one. I'll give him props for that one. Oh, and then the one I do want to see, Christina Williams. For those that don't remember her name or don't know, Christina Williams is the girl who rearranged Heather Hardy's face and broke her nose in a million pieces. She's fighting Bruna Ellen. That one could be interesting. I'm always interested to see what this girl, after what she did to Heather Hardy, I've always been interested in her. So yeah, that might be worth a little gander. And they have a card on Saturday too, overseas. It has to be in Italy since Sakara is fighting. Yes, it is in Italy. Alessio Sakara is in the main event. And then there's Bellator kickboxing too, but I don't know who's fighting other than Joe Schilling. The card doesn't seem like they have a lot of info on it from what I can see. But yeah, I'm a Joe Schilling fan. I know Rina is too. You might want to check him out.
Yeah, but I think for this Bellator card, he's fighting MMA.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if he's fighting here or at in Italy though.
I think it's Italy, right? Man, I can't keep up with Bellator because of the tape delay and everything, and then this entire card is so long.
Oh, actually, okay. I just saw. Yeah, he's fighting here. He's fighting on tomorrow on the Friday card, but he's on the prelims. So.
Oh, okay. So he's not in
Italy, no.
Oh, okay.
So
see, they got half their team in Italy and half their team in the States. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, doing that. I mean, UFC was doing this like in 2014 too. I remember those times where they had 2 fights in one day. They had one in like Ireland and then the other one in like in fucking Texas or something, like on the same day, you know, like I guess they're just kind of following that route. I mean, UFC doesn't really need to do that anymore. They were just in that time when it was like crazy expansion and it was just fight after fight after fight after fight where you couldn't escape it. But I guess Bellator's trying to get on that tip too.
Okay, then maybe I can catch that one, hopefully, with Schilling on it then.
Yeah. But there's some I'm gonna touch on a few prelim fights, at least a few fighters that I know and a few fighters that I think are worth your time. For some of these, hope I'm saying his name right. Ione Barcelos is fighting on the Friday card, the TUF finale. This guy, I don't know. I know he's Brazilian and he looks a lot like Jose Aldo, but I remember when I saw him fight on his UFC debut, he fought like Jose Aldo. He had just crazy power in his hands, and he just had a style very, very familiar to like WEC Aldo, and knocked the guy out with I think 3 uppercuts. So I was like, damn, whoever this guy is, I'm gonna keep my eye on him. So he's fighting the TUF Finale. Tim Means is fighting. I know most people know Tim Means. He's always exciting. This guy Roosevelt Roberts, he's fighting Daryl Horcher. Daryl Horcher is the guy that got smashed by Khabib in like 2 rounds. He took it like last minute, but he's good. He's a good fighter. He's fighting Roosevelt Roberts, and this guy I've seen on the local scene here. He used to fight for a promotion called CXF here in SoCal, and man, he's very gritty. He kind of reminds me almost of guy from Bellator. What's his name? Daniel Strauss. He's kind of has like that kind of style, just very mean in your face, kind of grinding style. Some of the tough, I didn't keep up with tough, so I don't know who a lot of these fighters are. I know Pani Kianzad is fighting for um, the women's,
Featherweight.
yeah, the women's featherweight.
See, isn't that bad? Like we should know this. We should be excited about it, but there wasn't a lot of buzz
Well,
about.
I knew she was fighting at featherweight, which is just dumb because I've always known her as a bantamweight. Although she couldn't make weight, so maybe this is a good move for her. I don't know. Pani Kianzad is not a bad fighter. It's just at featherweight. I mean, I don't know. I guess I can't complain because featherweight needs anybody they can get right now. Women's featherweight anyway, but I don't know. I don't. This girl she's fighting, Macy Kiasun. I don't know who she is. I don't know what this win does for her, but at least she'll be in the UFC. And if they're gonna keep on with this division, they definitely need bodies in the division. So, um,
I hope it continues. Maybe they'll find other contenders, but it just didn't seem impressive.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what happened with the flyweights too. I mean they got plenty of women, but only like 3 of them were good. You know, they're gonna it's gonna take some time for them to even build up flyweight. So I know it's gonna take time with the featherweights. Oh, and Shevchenko, big Shevchenko, Antonina Panther Shevchenko is fighting Ji Young Kim, who missed weight by 4.5 pounds. So I don't know if that makes it any easier or harder for her, but I've seen Shevchenko fight mostly in Muay Thai, and she's excellent. And I think her style is actually really good for MMA. I know she's had a few MMA fights, but her style is very good because she's not fast paced. She takes her time and she picks her shots, and having that striking advantage, I think, can help her go far in the division. So those are the fighters on the tough card that I think you should watch out for. But we're gonna do 2 picks, Rina and I, on that card. We're gonna go with Pedro Munoz and Brian Caraway. That's one of the fights happening. Pedro Munoz, I know a lot of people were high on him when he first got in. I was kind of late to the party, but I saw him fight Brett Johns at UFC 227. I was there live for that, and that was probably the fight of the night. That was he beat the shit out of that guy, man. And Brett Johns was so tough, but Pedro Munoz never let up. Beat him on the ground, beat him standing. Just a class A ass whooping. And he's gonna fight Brian Caraway, who last fought Cody Stamann, which a lot of people think he won. It was a split decision loss for him. So this is an interesting fight. Caraway's not a guy that fights too often anymore. It seems like he fights once a year or once every 2 years. But you can never count the guy out, man. He's a veteran. He's tough as hell. He's always in your face. And then against a guy like Munoz, who's very similar, but probably has more power, I think it's just going to be exciting any way you cut it. Who do you got in this one, Reen? What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think Caraway's been out for 2 years.
Well, he fought Stamann in March. So I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, but before him, I think it had been like a year and a half or something. It had been a layoff before that.
Okay, so yeah, he's been out for a while. He's an inconsistent fighter. To me, he's a slow fighter. Doesn't
Well,
have a lot of speed.
yeah, he's not athletic, but he's definitely just. I mean, he makes up for it just with pressure and just determination. You know, he never lets up. He's always keeping busy.
Yeah, so I don't know how he'll perform now. He's, like I said, inconsistent. He's a good grappler. His striking so-so. He's definitely a tough, a vet. But Munoz, he's also a grappler.
Yeah,
He's a scrappy
very
fighter
good.
too.
Yeah,
So, and then he's had like what, 3 guillotine chokes and like
yeah, he's
5 of
very
his
good at
last
that.
bouts or something, like finishes.
Yeah.
So I have Munoz by decision. I think I'll go to decision.
Yeah, I think I might have to agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a submission, honestly, when you're talking about his guillotines, because his guillotine is that good. And then um Caraway's not a bad wrestler, but he can get I wouldn't say desperate, but I think he can just kind of run in with ruthless intent and kind of just leave himself open. If he were to just like lunge in on a takedown and Munoz gets his neck and submits him, I would not be the least bit surprised by that. But yeah, just the matchup. I think it'll be not an easy one for Munoz, but I think he'll take it. I think he's more athletic. He's faster. He hits harder, more tools, and then I don't think he's going to be too worried to go to the ground with him. So he'll definitely hold his own. And I think standing he can definitely beat him. So yeah, I'm siding with Rina on that one too. I'm gonna go with Munoz over Caraway. We're also gonna talk about obviously the main event, Rafael dos Anjos versus Kamaru Usman. Man, this might be the toughest fight to call all weekend. I'm gonna go Usman, only because it's not even that dos Anjos lost to Covington. It was the way that he lost to him. Um, and I think Usman is a way better wrestler and way stronger than Covington. So that image of him just repeatedly getting taken down or pressed against the fence, I don't know if Dos Santos is gonna have an answer for that.
Yeah, RDA is a great all-around fighter, but he had trouble with Colby, and you can't perform like that with against Usman.
Yeah.
I think this is really a bad matchup for RDA. Usman has power, he has a size and speed advantage, I feel, and of course he has power too, and he's not scared to put pressure on a fighter. So I have to go with Usman by decision on this one too.
Yeah, I think decision too. I will say I do give Covington a lot of credit for how he performed against Dos Anjos, not just literally for what he did to him, put the pressure on him right away, but also in the shit talking. Dos Anjos was very mad, very emotional in that fight, and I think he kind of forgot what he was doing out there. Um, I think if he steps to the center of the octagon and just commands Usman's respect, if he gets just a nasty leg kick or just lands one of those power right hands of his. I'm sorry, left hands. He's a southpaw. If he can get some really strong kicks or punches off on him in the beginning, he might have a chance. But I don't know. Usman just seems so tough and so dogged. I think he's gonna at least try to walk through him, and if not, if he doesn't get those early, he doesn't allow him to get that respect. I think he's just gonna. I think it's gonna be a repeat of the Covington fight, but worse. Um, any other thoughts, Rain?
No, I totally agree. I think it's going to be a long night for RDA. I mean, if Usman can do what he wants to do and get him to the ground and just start grounding, pounding, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so we're gonna move on to Saturday night, UFC Fight Night, Dos Santos versus Tuivasa, happening in Adelaide. Um, Going over the prelims now. Any names that? Oh, Kai Kara France is fighting. I hope you guys know who he is. That guy's man, tiny little dude, but cracks a hell of a punch. That should be a good fight. Ben Nguyen and Wilson Hayes, I think, is one of the last scheduled flyweight bouts for the foreseeable future. Um, Okami's fighting against someone that I don't know. I don't know who gets excited for Yushin Okami, so we'll skip over that. Jake Matthews is fighting someone else I don't know, but Jake Matthews is still young, still has some potential. Okay, so we're gonna touch on the main and co-main, but Mark Hunt's also fighting in this card, and it seems like it's the last card. It's the last fight on his contract. He's fighting Justin Willis, who's a pretty good fighter, but I feel it's a guy he should beat. But at this stage of his career, at his age, I don't know if he can. Reen, just what are your thoughts about the situation of just Mark Hunt in general? Do you think this is a good fight for him? Do you think he should retire, win or lose? Do you think he should continue, or maybe go into kickboxing or try and sign with another promotion? What do you think?
I don't know. That's so tough for me because I love Mark Hunt. But man, he's getting up there in age and he's had it rough with the UFC lately.
He's been up there in age. He's just so damn. I mean, that's just the Polynesian blood, the Samoan blood in him.
Yeah, but he's such a warrior, right? So it's like, will he stop? I think this will be like, a nice farewell fight if he does decide to retire. They'll be in Australia. And, he's very popular there. So I hope he gets his knockout win and gives us that highlight reel again and he walks away. That would be cool. But I don't know. Would he do that? Who knows, man? That warrior mentality, like it's no joke, especially out there. So
Yeah, I almost forgot this was in Australia. So yeah, that is a backyard fight for him. And the good and the bad news about Willis is that he's a younger fighter. So the good news is that he's not experienced. He may be kind of stuck in the moment, not be able to get everything, get all his gears in order. But also just the age difference that can work against Hunt as well. So yeah, I don't know. I hope he wins. I think just I'm on the same page. I hope he wins and I hope he retires, gets a big knockout in Australia and just calls it a career. Dude's taking a lot of damage. I know Samoans got, that crazy blood, that warrior spirit, but the body is still fragile and he's done quite a lot of damage to it. So hope everything works out for the guy because I'm also a big Mark Hunt fan. But speaking of Mark Hunt, we have someone else in the co-main event that kind of brings up similar sentiment. Shogun. Shogun's going to be fighting Tyson Pedro, and frankly, I just don't see any way he wins this, and I don't see any way how he even survives this. I don't know if he can even make it to the third round. I think it'll probably even be finished in the first round, but I can at least give him enough respect to go to the second, but nothing beyond that.
yeah, I went back and forth on this because Pedro hasn't been knocked out before. Shogun has power. Pedro has power. Shogun has a black belt in BJJ, but he only technically has one submission win. I don't know. I don't want to see him get knocked out. I that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, I really did try and give Shogun the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, the black belt did come to mind as well, the jiu-jitsu thing, because Pedro is not good on the floor. Basically every fight he's lost, he's been taken down in one way or another. He just doesn't have it there yet. But Shogun's never really been known for his takedowns too much either. And then the ones that he does, he's not this stud wrestler. He usually gets like trips and clinches and stuff. And that's where Pedro. That's where Pedro's the strongest because he's a big guy. He's a big, strong guy. It's not gonna be easy to just trip the dude. So I think I would like to say, like, man, if Shogun can at least play it smart and go for takedowns, he might be able to submit him or TKO him with ground and pound. But I don't really see how. I don't think that matches up well with Pedro because he's just too too strong and too. He does have that skill set down, at least in the clinch. If he
Yeah.
was a All-American wrestler or something, I'd feel differently, but I just don't see how he does it.
Yeah, and then he had that devastating loss, right? The knockout Shogun. So,
Anthony Smith, yeah, who fucking just murdered him straight
yeah.
up. Yeah, yeah. So, Pedro all the way. I'm assuming. What do you think? You think it'll be quick, or you think he can actually go to a decision?
I think it'll be quick.
Yeah, and seems like the safe pick. So yeah, so we're both going to Shogun on that one. Sadly, I'm sorry. We're both going with Pedro on that one. Sadly, I've been saying Shogun a lot, so it just slip of the tongue. Sorry.
No
So
worries. No worries.
so we're gonna go into the main event: Junior Dos Santos versus Tai Tuivasa. This is a really interesting fight. I really like this fight. Dos Santos is the veteran, former champion. Very very technical, but also holds a lot of power. And Tuivasa is just a powerhouse and seems like almost nothing else. Just a violent Polynesian brother. So I think this fight has a lot of potential for violence, but also who knows? It's hard to know because before Tuivasa's last fight against Arlovsky, he'd never even really been out of the first round. He went 3 rounds with Arlovsky and did pretty well, and didn't look super exhausted. So I think he can go 5 rounds, but I know I'm putting that's a bit of a leap of faith. Whereas Dos Santos has gone 5 rounds a few times and has always had a pretty good gas tank and can fight very technically. Um, I wasn't even sure I really had no pick in my mind before just a second, but I think I'm gonna go with Junior Dos Santos just because I think his fundamentals are good enough to outpoint Tuivasa. I think his footwork's still there. He still has a good jab. He can still move pretty well, and I don't think Tuivasa is just gonna bum rush him and put him to the fence like Cain Velasquez or something. He's very strong and he's got some really good elbows in the clinch. That could be worrying, but I think Dos Santos has been there enough to where he can at least get out of a bad situation. Because as good as Tuivasa is, as strong as he is, I don't think he's as strong as Cain Velasquez, and I know he doesn't have the cardio or the skill as Cain Velasquez. So I think he can get out of some tough spots, and I think he can get a decision. What do you think, Rain?
Yeah, I think so too. I have to go with JDS too. It was great boxing, his footwork, um, underrated grappling ability. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I didn't even put much into the grappling, but that is true. He actually does have some good takedowns. When he wants to do it, he can just go for a good like Shane Carwin. I remember he took Shane Carwin down back in the day with like a just a solid double leg. So he definitely has that in his pocket, and yeah, it'd be probably a good idea to put Tuivasa on the floor and see what he's made of. He
right.
can
Yeah,
probably yeah he could probably go down that route if he really wants to. So
right. I
yeah,
think it'll be a real good test for him. But yeah, I would have to go with JD too. JDS too.
yeah, and then if he wins this, I mean, who knows? As we were saying earlier with Blades, Ngannou, and Overeem, I mean, heavyweight can be wide open in the near future. So
I'm so excited for this division now because it was kind of dry.
for a bit, yeah, it can be interesting. It
Like,
can be interesting. And then the thing is, like, it's good that I think we're all happy that DC is gonna most likely beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar if that fight happens. Like everyone thinks it's gonna happen. But it'll be sad to see DC go. But at least we know he's there in age. Like he did what he had to do. But I don't think there's much of a possibility of Brock coming back. I mean, I think he's just doing the quick payday, quick uh I think he's mostly doing it for the check. Yeah, of course he wants to say he's the champion again, but he's not going to stay around. So
No, I don't think he will do it at all, to be
yeah,
honest, because
yes,
now his position is to kind of carry the torch for that Raw brand
yeah.
because Roman Reigns, he had to kind of retire because, leukemia and whatnot. So,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I don't keep up much with. I know you know a little bit more about wrestling than I do, but yeah, I did know that about Roman Reigns. That yeah, that's some crazy shit that he was going through. But
yeah,
yeah, who knows?
I don't think Brock's going to come now because, I mean, it's not really a huge payday for him to go through the testing protocols and the weight cutting and, you know, to actually train too. I don't think he'll go for that now that he has this platform again. Like he has to carry this brand.
You don't think he's even gonna come back to fight DC?
I don't think so, man. Not now. Not now that it's changed in wrestling with what
Yeah.
happened with Roman Reigns. Like I think he'll just stay because they'll probably give him more money. I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen because that brand, the Raw brand, I don't know. I'm not really into it too much too, but just what I'm seeing with the
Yeah.
SmackDown brand, it's like they are really hurting. So
Mm.
even if they let Brock go for a little bit, he's going to have to be in testing and training. It's going to be a while. So I don't know if he'll be able to do both. So
Interesting.
yeah, so I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, it's really interesting because he's always had favoritism, especially in the WWE. You know, they kind of just let him do whatever he wants. So it would be kind of like a strong arm move, like don't go, don't go, don't go. But I mean, yeah, they'd obviously have to pay him. But I don't know. I feel like Brock really does love fighting, and he wants to fight, especially the big fights. But I mean, if they give him, if the check is big enough, yeah, you may have a point. Well, why risk it? Why do it? You're gonna be set. So what's the point?
Yeah, because he's already big, but if he takes the fight with DC, it might just mess up his legacy.
Yeah, and especially because DC's not gonna, it's not gonna be like a quick submission or something. I'm pretty sure he's gonna beat the shit out of him for whether it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 25 minutes. Like it's not gonna be a good look. I don't think.
Yeah, two wrestlers colliding, and then you got one that's got hands too.
Yeah, and I mean, Brock, I know he was the NCAA champion and all that, but from what I hear, he wasn't like competing against the best of the best, or wasn't. He kind of had it easy in one way or another, from what I've heard. But I know what DC's gone through to be in wrestling. That's not a joke for him. He's one of the best to ever do it, just in wrestling. So yeah, I don't think there's any good way that turns out for Brock. But hey, if he gets paid, I'm not mad if he doesn't come back. I want to see it just because I think it's a good fight. But if he doesn't come back, there's plenty of other guys there that will take his spot. So it'll probably work out best for everybody.
Yeah, I hope DC gets it for the big payday and he could just ride out in the sunset, but
Yeah.
I doubt that it's going to happen now. We probably will see DC and Jones fight again.
Oh man, that I don't even know how to feel about that. That's one of those things that when it happens, we'll talk about because I mean, for God's sake, just a little to get a little personal here. I mean, that's the whole reason of why we met. I mean, we knew each other through Twitter and stuff, but we were there for DC Jones too, and that's how we met. So that was the good. I mean, that was a great card, and I had a lot of fun, and it was cool meeting you and stuff. But man, all the shit that came afterwards just drained my soul, man. I don't want to go through that shit again.
I know. It's so emotional when he's involved, and that's why this fight, nothing better happened. The one that's coming up with Gus, nothing better happened. And I'm not reading shit about John Jones. I'm trying not to listen to the bullshit talk. And this is me talking real now about John Jones. Like, this psychopath still doesn't get it.
Well, he just admitted yesterday that he's not sober.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so as a business person, shareholder in this UFC company or WME, it's like that would be concerning to me. At that, you change your life. Oh, now we have this risk too. What if you fall off? Like, what if you continue to drink more or do whatever you want again? Like, really? So you're not really clean.
As I said, I'm just one of those. It's just one of those things. I'd rather just keep my mouth shut till I mean, when? Well, that's in a few weeks now. About what? I think we're exactly a month away from him and Gus. Which literally, knock on wood, right now, knock on wood, nothing happens. But I mean, that's gonna. I think we're just gonna spend that whole episode. Should we do this at that time? I think we're just gonna spend the whole episode talking about that and Nunes Cyborg, because just those two fights on their own. I mean, what else do you really need to talk about? There's so much. There's so much there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even want to be excited for it, but I can't hide my excitement. I mean, it's all weird and all wrong. It's not the way it should happen, but I'm not complaining that it is happening. So we'll come to that when it comes to that, because
yeah, that's a whole different
John,
segment.
John Jones just causes pain.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So
we need therapy after that.
Yeah, and
a drink.
yes, definitely. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about one more fight, and then we're gonna finish this off with a news story. I think we're just gonna be doing that from now on. Put in a weird, wacky news stories, shit, usually cruel shit that Rina and I find funny. But we'll get to that in a second. I wanted to talk about one more fight. It's a boxing fight. Wilder versus Fury. Deontay Wilder's fighting Tyson Fury this weekend for I mean, basically Anthony Joshua's still out there, but this is basically the biggest fight that boxing can do right now, and the most significant heavyweight fight in a while. Two undefeated guys. It's a very interesting fight. It's kind of a shame. I mean, it's on pay-per-view, which is not surprising, but I really wanted to see this fight, and I don't have the money to shell out for that UFC 231 and UFC 232, so unfortunately I'm going to have to skip it, at least as a pay-per-view option. But I really want to watch it, and it's a very polarizing. It's going to be an emotional fight for me, because I wasn't a big Tyson Fury fan for a while, but I've seen him on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I've seen interviews with him and saying all the stuff that he came back from with his weight gain and his alcohol abuse and drug abuse and depression, for him to just how good he looks now. That did make me a fan, so that's good. But I happen to despise Deontay Wilder with the power of 1,000 suns, because the guy can't box. He can't box worth a shit. I've never seen a guy who's done so good in his career who can't fucking box. So I don't see there's any other way that this goes besides just an ass whooping by Fury. I don't see how he just doesn't box him up for 12 rounds. I know Deontay hits hard. I know he can catch him. But I really think this is all. I think that is all it is. He has a puncher's chance and nothing else. And if he does win, oh Lord, God help me, because I'm gonna riot, man. I am not gonna be the least bit happy about this.
Sorry. Oh man.
I had to rant, Rina. I had to.
No, it's fine. It's awesome, actually.
Wilder drives me insane.
I think this fight is interesting. Like you said, it's a very important fight for the heavyweight division. Wow, what a story with Tyson Fury. Like, he had alcohol, drug problems, like depression, weight problems, everything. Like, he made this comeback now. So he has a lot of power. Wilder does too. Wilder he's a creative fighter. I'm trying to compliment him a little too, man. I gotta be a little fair. But Yeah, I think Fury's gonna. If they keep it in the middle, and if they want to just go to war, I think Fury's gonna just knock him out. I
I
think he can
mean,
knock him out by KO.
Fury.
Just Fury, Tyson. Yeah, Fury will knock out Wilder.
I mean, I don't think that's Wilder's only chance. Is for some reason Fury just got like he just got a big ego on him and said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just go toe to toe with this guy," and gets
Yeah.
caught. But I mean, well, you know what? His footwork and his defense is good enough where I think he can probably stand in the pocket and do well. I just wouldn't advise to do that the whole fight. I don't advise this to be like a Brandon Rios, one of those Mexican brawls of just you stand 2 inches in front of one another and just go to the body, go to the head, go to the body, go to the head type thing, you know?
I wonder if it's gonna be like that because just the shit talking has been so epic. Like, I wonder if they just want to get in a brawl.
Yeah, but Fury, I know is a smart guy, and
Yeah.
Deontay just does not strike me as a guy who can keep his emotions in check. He seems very, very upset right now, and I think it's going to play into Fury's hands. Fury might be up there with Conor as far as like his not even really his shit talking, but his confidence of just like I got this. I already know what you're gonna do, and I'm 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, so I'm playing you like a fiddle. And Wilder definitely seems like his fool. He definitely seems like a guy who would buy into it and not even think twice about it.
So
You
what do
there?
you? Yeah. So what do you think? Final.
I'm going with Wilder. No, no, of course I'm going with Fury, and yeah, I mean it's easy to say a decision, but I'll take it up a notch and say he'll knock him out probably in the ninth round.
It's possible, man. Like you said, Wilder's like wilding out, right? He's really getting emotional and
I will give
man.
Wilder this. I will give him this. His last fight with David Ortiz, he got dropped, he got hurt a few times, and he came back and he stopped Ortiz. The dude's got heart. He's definitely got that. But Fury's just on another level. He's just more technical. He's more powerful, smarter, and it's gonna take everything and then some of Wilder to beat him. I think he's gonna have to surprise him, either by just becoming a better boxer in these past couple of months that we didn't think would happen, or just maybe just going at him from the start, just push him, put the pressure on him, and then who knows, maybe just roll the dice and see what happens. But I mean, I really think aside from a lucky punch, he's really got nothing for him. The dude, the guy seriously can't. He crosses his feet so often, and he drops his hands after every. I mean, he lifts his feet up when he throws these winging overhand rights. He damn near falls over.
He's creative.
I've trained my 10-year-old nephews and to hit the pads too. I can say they're very creative as well. Jesus.
Oh man, whatever works, right?
Well, I mean, at least I can show them. It's like, well, kids grow, keep going. Look how that guy's doing. You can't be worse than him.
Too funny.
Jesus. But okay, so that's it for fights. One last story. We want to end, as always, on a good note of people doing stupid shit. So the story came out. This is actually something that happened a while ago. This was like over almost a year and a half ago. There was a fire set in Arizona. I think it was over 47,000 acres. Yes, 47,000 acres that were destroyed in a wildfire that they didn't know how it started. And I guess now they found out what happened. So there's this Border Patrol agent named Dennis Dickey who was having a gender reveal party. And by the way, Rina and I were talking off air about gender reveal parties. We don't know why this is a thing. And apparently it's just a white people thing because me being Mexican and her being Japanese, or Okinawan, we have really not heard of this. So please stop with this trend. But I digress. It was a gender reveal party, and this guy had the bright idea of um they were gonna surprise the guest of what gender the baby was by shooting this target that he made that was filled with some sort of explosive. And when he shot it in the backyard in the dry ass desert in Arizona, it went immediately to the dry bushes and caught fire and started this wildfire. They just found out now. I don't know how. Somehow he still has his job. He was not fired as a border patrol agent. He still has his job, and he was fined $100,000, and he has to pay restitution, $120,000 in restitution. So didn't get jail time. At least he's paying something, but they say that the the cost of the fire was over $8 million. So I guess he got off very lucky. Reen, what say you?
I don't get the gender reveal parties at all. I thought it was just a fun thing people are just doing on Instagram or whatever. But it's a trend now. It's a thing now. People do this.
Yes, it is.
And this guy just had to be the one-upper.
Yeah. What did you say off air that this is similar to like My Sweet 16 type stuff?
Yes.
Teenagers, teenagers trying to outdo each other with their parents' money.
Yes, exactly. It's the same thing because you're going to post it on Instagram or somewhere, right? Facebook, hey, this is what we did. People are always trying to one up.
Or, I mean, just to go simpler, I mean, even engagements, that you can't just get engaged to somebody in a restaurant anymore. You gotta, go to the top of a mountain and broadcast it for the world to see,
Right. So I don't understand. Like, this guy. And then we don't find out until, what, almost a year later?
Yeah, April 2017, and then they just posted the video a day or two ago. So
Insane. He
yeah.
never turned himself in. He still has a job, a federal job, correct? I believe.
I'm pretty sure being a border agent means it's federal. Yeah, on some level, yes.
Border agent, so he has to be familiar with this atmosphere, right? The surrounding areas. That video that I saw the grounds looked very dry to me. I didn't have to be there to be like, oh man, that's a bad idea. Nah, man, don't do it.
Yeah, but some guys with their guns, they can't be reasoned with. They got it, and it's that whole saying: when you got a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, when you have a gun, everything's your fucking target with some people, and they need to cause just utter destruction.
Insane. And you know what? It's funny. I went to a baby shower in July. My friend had her baby a couple months ago. It was a nice baby shower. What happened to just plain old baby showers? Do you have to have a gender reveal and then a baby shower too?
Well, and this is a bit, I don't know, maybe there's just something that's been going on with pregnancy in my age, growing up, because in the past few years is this thing with a push gift.
Oh God, yeah.
Which I honestly, on principle, I'm not against. Like, hey, if a woman's gonna push a baby out of her body, you want to give her a gift, I have no problem with that. But the thing is that now it's becoming like protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's what's becoming weird. It's like, wait, I don't remember this when I was growing up. What the hell's going on? So I don't know. Maybe there's just something with, I don't know if it's with children or with parenting or just the process of maternity, of the 9 months in womb, that it needs to be more special, or it needs to, I don't know. I'm not a woman. I'm not going to say that this is right or wrong. I don't know how to feel about it. I just will say that it's weird that it seemed to happen so fast, that it went from a push gift to gender reveal parties. I don't know. I think we had it good just with the baby showers as well, but
man, I'm a female. I don't even get it, man. But I guess I'm just part female because I think like a guy sometimes.
Well, you do have a kid. I mean, it's not just that you're a female. I mean, you're a mother. That definitely. I mean, that definitely strengthens your position. But
Yeah, but I'm not a normal mom too either. I'm over here training my kid, getting pads and whatnot.
well,
So
you also are from Okinawa, so I mean, you got a warrior spirit that can't be denied. Apparently,
yeah, so
that's good
uh-uh.
though. That's good though. More people should follow your lead, I think. No,
Thanks.
honestly, if more people did that, we'd have a lot less problems in this world, especially with things like bullying and stuff. So
Oh yeah, that's another reason why I'm getting started on that. But
yeah, start them when they're young.
yeah, so you just never know, man. So BJJ is next with that boy. But yeah, this whole reveal thing, I mean, I saw the video. Oh my God, insane.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it on Twitter and stuff with the links of this podcast when it comes out, so you guys can see in case you didn't know about it. But it's so fast and so I mean it's just it's insane. You just have to see it. It's just it happens so fast that you don't fully appreciate how stupid it is till afterward. but at least that's what I got from it. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. But with that, I think we're gonna call it a night. Um, so you can get at us at juice underscore MMA on Twitter and Instagram. Same with Reen at Fox with you. Give the podcast a follow as well. We're now on Twitter and Instagram at iFox with Juice. More and more things along the way. We're slowly but surely we're getting this thing rolling. And as always, share, like the podcast, tell your friends, do what you got to do. Help us out a little bit. I hope you guys have enjoyed it this far. Any last words, Reen?
Yes, let's pump the brakes on the gender reveal parties, please. Simple balloons are cool too. We
Yes.
don't need to be scorching the earth, you know. So that's all my
There's a
PSA for the moment.
there's a there's a time and place for that, but I don't think gender reveal parties are the place for that.
Man, I hope everybody learns from this one. Like, let's not go that far.
Yeah. So far we've learned don't go to remote islands to praise the word of Jesus, and don't go overboard with the gender reveal party.
Right?
Yes.
So we talk about fights and then just talk about common sense stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll try to keep up this regimen so people could get a bit wiser in the long run. But once again, thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you all next week. Peace.
Adios. Goodbye. Sayonara.
Mm-hmm.